Good evening, wool gatherers, or is it wanderers? Yeah, who knows? Anyway, welcome to episode 140 of Wanderings and Wool Gathering. On tonight's episode, we are cracking the code on Periphery V. Djent is not a genre. It is their 7th album, hence Periphery V. Interesting. We're also going to play Who's That Band and see if we can't stump Mr. Mundy, but we're actually going to make him pick the album, not just the band, because he's that good and it demands it. And we're going to check in on a concert that Mr. Mundy recently saw and the new NF song Motto. And tonight's episode is brought to you by 4411 Creative Agency. The good folks at 4411 provide custom marketing and flawless execution. Creative is their middle name. Head over to 4411creative.com to find out more. If you like what you see and hear tonight, subscribe and leave a comment. Feel free to share with your friends. And joining me tonight, as always, is the Metalhead himself, Mr. Mundy.
Step inside into his mind. His boy band time. It's
Metalhead Mundy.
And there he is, in the flesh.
Here I am, finally. Technical difficulties, gotta love them. Got to start a little late, but we're here.
We are here. Facebook user, good evening, Foggy. Well, good evening to you. I wish I could see the names on Facebook users. I don't understand. Just when it's on YouTube, do we get those? And then we have also from a user, just heard Dirty Heads for the first time. I'm impressed. Another Facebook user. Pop in with your name real fast because we can't see it unless we pull up Facebook.
Yeah. Good to know who we're talking to or who's talking to us.
We'll talk to you, believe me. Well, welcome, Mr. Mundy.
Thank you.
On this fine Monday evening. Normally we're on Sundays, but we had to push it back this week. That was my fault. It is Mr. Abney. Welcome, Thomas, to the show. Tom, have you heard Periphery before? Just checking in with you. Or Meshuggah? It's probably close relative. So, hey, talk about your big show you saw, because this is a star-studded lineup in this group.
Yeah, so it was Friday, March 3rd, the wife and I went to Wabash, Indiana to see the Winery Dogs. And for those who don't know, they are, I don't know if you just call them just a trio or a power trio, or I don't know, like a super trio, super group, whatever. It's basically three dudes from other things that come together, and they've just released their 3rd album. So, but it's Mike Portnoy on drums of Dream Theater fame, and he's gone on to do a million other things. Billy Sheehan on bass, who I have been a fan of since the late 80s. He was in David Lee Roth's band with Steve Vai. Been a fan of his since then. He was also in like Mr. Big. He's done lots of other things. And on vocals and guitar, you have Mr. Richie Kotzen, who actually came onto my radar in 1991. CC DeVille left Poison. Richie Kotzen took over on guitar for them. So that's where I first heard of him. He's like a guitar virtuoso dude. Guitar players love him, and he's got a really good voice. So they're very, very solid band. And yeah,
I'd call them a power trio. I think you're right.
Yeah. So they played in Wabash at the Eagles Theater, which is right downtown there. It's about a block and a half from the Honeywell Center, which is probably the most famous venue in that area. But it was pretty cool because we were gonna. It's not that far away. It takes probably less than an hour to get there, really. But we just kind of wanted to, spend the night, go to the show, hang out there the next day. So that's what we did. We booked a room at the hotel, and everything we did was basically in the same intersection right there. So it was awesome. We parked at the hotel, went up, got our room, walked over to a restaurant, got some dinner, walked back to the room for a minute, walked across the street, literally right across the street. The marquee was right outside our window. To the show, spent the night at the hotel, got up, ate breakfast at the hotel, walked to a coffee shop, and drove home. So it's pretty awesome. Park your car and don't have to get back in it till you leave.
Yeah, that's awesome. Was the venue cool?
It was really, really nice. I'm not sure how old that place is, but everything looked fantastic, like updated. Just great. The sound system, they sounded amazing. The seating was comfortable. I would say there's not a bad seat in there, but there are a couple of columns that you might get stuck behind. They're not huge, but they're just kind of big enough to be in the way. But we had great seats, so we didn't have a problem with that. And my God, they were amazing. I mean, that you have 3 virtuoso level musicians that are all getting together, and I mean, it's just ridiculous. You got bass solos, drum solos, guitar solos. Richie hopped on a electric piano for a song. I mean, it was insane, just wonderful.
Did we get a really tasty drum solo? Because Portnoy is pretty darn good.
Yeah, he didn't do anything super long, but he kind of, he took a few minutes. Kind of laid down the law there. It was pretty awesome.
All right.
And they didn't. Billy Sheehan, he did. I was most excited about seeing him because I was a huge fan of the David Lee Roth's band, which was him and Steve Vai and Greg Bissonette on drums. And man, so I've loved him since then, and he blew me away. He's really fun to watch, and he's so good, and he has a really distinct sound to his bass. So that was very cool to see. That was exciting for me.
Awesome. So you would see them again?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Perfect.
They were, my wife is not super into them, and I think she really enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, that could have gone any different way, right?
Mm-hmm.
She could have hated the whole affair.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Mr. Mundy, you've put me off long enough. You're afraid of what's about to happen, I can tell.
Yeah. That's why I'm talking so much.
That's right. See, folks, he's scared because he knows we're going to stump him tonight with the challenge formerly known as the Lester Bangs Challenge. I don't know what we call it anymore. Afraid to get sued, I guess. But the late, great Lester Bangs used to write for Rolling Stone magazine, wrote reviews. Mm-hmm. So we read parts of reviews and see if we can figure out who the heck or what the heck they're talking about. In this one, it's a who and a what, because I think he can pick it out immediately, but I want to make sure that he knows the album in this one. And I think it will be like, that's my guess.
I got to say, for people that don't know, Lester Bangs he's a very famous rock critic from back in the day. My favorite thing about him is that he absolutely hated Black Sabbath when they came out. Which just cracks me up.
Yeah, he did anyway. Not. Yeah, that's true. But they're not for everyone.
But he was kind of cranky and snarky, and whatever. Critics.
We need those guys, right? They need somebody to put down what we love. All right, here we go. Tell me the album, sir. There have been a lot of strange rumors surrounding this album. There were wild-eyed, panicked suggestions. It would be a new metal album and it sounded just like System of a Down. After all, there are no solos. It was supposed to contain blast beats and death metal elements, just like Cryptopsy. Hey, this drummer has rediscovered double kick drums after more than a decade. And what death metal bands use a lot of, right? Any idea yet?
I mean, I have an idea, but I don't what you said about the drummer, is this that made it sound like this band has been playing for a decade and he just came back to that, or what did that mean, that no one had really used the double kick for a decade and now these guys are this new
This
band
particular person. That's not.
Hmm.
All right, you ready?
That didn't really clear it up.
That's all right. Maybe this next paragraph will. No, I'm just saying this drummer had not used it more than a decade.
Okay.
So what it is, though, is still a bit confused. The production is strange with an odd ping in the drum sound. The
Okay.
guitars are mostly fat and meaty, as you'd expect, but occasionally drop off to a thin, reedy sound, like some poorly executed mid-'80s thrash demo.
I know what it is.
What you got?
It's Saint Anger.
Yeah, I knew you'd get it. Yeah, that's just kind of an interesting record. People love it or hate it. It's like,
yeah, I've heard someone else compare it to System of a Down. So that kind of, yeah, all of that together. Of course, the the snare sound. That's people hate that for the most part.
Yeah. I think if you look it up, you probably find both, but
yeah,
it's probably the most wildly reacted to of all Metallica albums, I would bet.
Short of Lulu with Lou Reed, I probably, yeah.
Well, I knew you'd get it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of songs on there that I really like. There's a lot of cool parts of songs that I like. There's actually a few of those songs that they've reworked since then that sound better. Like they did an insane acoustic version of All Within My Hands. That's just gorgeous. But yeah, I mean, it's hard not to put that at the bottom of the Metallica pile.
Yeah. All right. Well, I know you'd get it. All right. Now, before we move on to our record, I was super excited because NF came out with a second single and another nicely produced video, which this song is called Motto, which kind of takes the next step from the first song, where we seem to have a new NF. I'm sure having a child has changed him a bit. And so these songs kind of have a more positive outlook and him coming to terms with who he is and what he's all about.
Yeah, it's funny. It's almost hard for me to separate him from the videos because they're so interesting always.
Right.
And just the way I guess you could say his acting in the videos, his mannerisms, his movement, I mean, this one, there's a lot of humor. It's pretty funny. So I really enjoy his videos, but I mean, the song was great too.
Yeah. There were some really cool pieces to the song. And he kind of says goodbye to caring what Eminem thinks. Did you get that one too? Because he, in the beginning, he let it be known that he liked Eminem a lot and he was an inspiration. And of course, Eminem kind of shat on him a little bit. I think he made fun of therapy sessions, like it was another relapse or whatever from Eminem. So he didn't like that. But and he says, I would have gave anything to be respected by the artist I was listening to, but no more. Them days are history. Skip the red carpet. You looking for me? So he's kind of moved on from that. But there were a lot of really cool things about this song, about not selling out, doing it your way, not doing what everybody tells you to do, which he clearly has done, and it's worked out for him. And one of the coolest touches was, are you familiar with When I Grow Up? The song?
Not off the top of my head, no.
So it is a great song. It's catchy, it's funny, and the whole thing is about he wants to be a rapper when he grows up, and then he's standing in this room and he's singing, he's rapping to these two kids, and he turns, and then the curtain comes up and it's a whole group of people. Well, outside the red carpet in this video is the same kid from that video with a cup drinking just like he was in the video.
Okay.
Same outfit, everything. So kind of like, still thanking the fans for being with him since the beginning, or, still catering to those fans rather than doing whatever it takes to get new ones. I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah, that's one thing he's definitely good at. Me not being a huge fan of his, and I don't go super deep on all of his stuff, but I do recognize, like, when it's pointed out to me, and I caught it in the last video with the balloons and all of that. Yeah. But like he likes to tie his stuff together, so that's interesting. It's fun to see.
Yeah, it just puts another layer on. If you are a true fan, you can dig into those kind of things, and there's some things to offer. So I'm excited for the record to come out. That will be out in another month and a half. Okay. It'll be a big April for us, my friend.
Yep.
All right. Well, on to the album, and this was one that you recommended, and I wasn't very familiar, so this was all kind of new territory for me. Now, can you answer though why it's the 7th record called Periphery V?
I cannot. I don't. I mean, I don't know what I know they have at least one live album. I think was right before this. I don't if they count that in the 7. I don't know, but
I'm gonna go count just to make sure.
Yeah, I Periphery is not a band that I go super deep in their catalog on. Like I've just kind of found them in the last couple of years or so I'm not super well versed on everything Periphery, but I do. They are interesting. They're always interesting, and I don't know, I feel like metal fans kind of love them or hate them, but I don't know, I really enjoyed this. And honestly, like, we've complained for a while now that there hasn't been a lot of music coming out that we wanted to talk about, and we had 2 this week that I think would have been great, either this new Periphery or the new Miley Cyrus, which I did listen to a couple of times because I thought that's what we were doing. And it's good. It's really good. I think, Miley's really grown into her voice and kind of, found her way musically. There was a song or two, one specifically that I really didn't like. Is just kind of, like a bland poppy radio type song, but I mean, for the most part, it was great. I would have been fine doing that too, but we decided to go this way. So,
well, perhaps next week if we can't find it.
Yeah, right.
All right. So I looked up the sound or the album catalog here. So interestingly enough, the 3rd record is called Periphery 2.
Okay.
So the first one is just self-titled Periphery, and then you've got Icarus, which has a tie-in with this record in an odd way. And then the 4th record is called Clear. The 5th record is called Juggernaut Omega. And then the next 6, what the heck? That's the 6th one is Alpha Juggernaut, backward. Oh, they came out in the same year. And then Periphery 3 was the 7th record. And then Periphery 4, Hell Stand, was the 8th. I don't know. I thought it was the 7th studio album, but this shows this is the 9th. So who knows?
Huh.
I'll give them a call, see what they say.
Yeah.
I do like some of their little logos in here. The P with the 3 dots. I'm not sure what all that is about, but it's on a lot of their album covers. They're pretty sharp. I like them.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, this one is Djent, which was kind of interesting. I had to look that up to figure out why they had that in there. Did you look that up too?
I did not. I've heard of Djent for years and years, and like I kind of have a basic understanding of what that is, but yeah, I don't know. I figured them calling this album Djent is not a genre. I figured was just them being contrary and jerky and funny and whatever.
Yeah, he says Periphery are called progressive metal or progressive metalcore, which I get. They're labeled as Djent, the rhythmically complex, palm-muted, guitar-driven subgenre that Meshuggah are credited with spawning. And he says, that's just us having some fun with our fans. When our first record came out, we started hearing people throwing about the term Djent, which we used to describe the sound of palm-muted guitar, but they used to describe our style of music. So we have no control over that. People want to classify us as a Djent band. Well, the internet is undefeated. So definitely a bit of a playing there. So, all right. Well, we got to go with our album opener. What do we think? Is this a good album opener? And my short answer is yes.
Yeah, so the first track is Wildfire. There's a video for it. It's basically a performance video. Nothing super special about that. I also think this is a great opener. It's hard to say that it sets the tone because the tone kind of wanders all over the place.
You'd have to do everything in one song for it to set the tone.
I mean, yeah, and when I say all over the place, I could not mean that any more than I mean it is all over the place. I mean, but right away, like you're hit with the vocal trifecta. You got screaming, singing, growling. It's all there. It's super heavy. I mean, anything that's kind of associated with that Djent sound is going to be super heavy because of the palm muting, the detuning, all of that. So you have all that here. And you got all the, the dynamics and the part changes that come with the prog sound, and it's all here. I mean, even like two big things in this for the progressive stuff is around the 425 mark, we shift into this weird jazzy electronic kind of smooth break, including a saxophone solo.
A huge solo, like front and center, not muted. It is. It became a jazz jam at the end of the song. So
but it's great. It's all great. As weird as all that sounds, it works, and it's so good. So this is a great opener. I had a lot of fun with this one.
Yes, and I would agree that this breaks all the rules of arrangement. Because I mean, you've got this song, he's just ripping it and tearing it up, and he's growling. I mean, we got the whole thing going on, and then bam, we're swinging and solo. Yeah, it was. It's interesting. I could see where somebody would definitely say, "Man, this didn't work." Like that change was too harsh, and we took this. I don't know, but I liked it. I mean, it really, when you talk about progressive rock, you expect to go on an adventure. You expect long songs, and these were longer. A lot of them were 7 to 8 minute range. Yeah, and so you got a true story, and you traveled the roads on this one. So I thought it was a great album opener. I liked it a lot.
I think you kind of touched on exactly what I was thinking. Anyone who said that transition in that part doesn't work, they're probably not super into progressive stuff, prog music. So, because that's kind of what it's all about, let's see how weird we can get. So,
yeah. And it worked.
Yeah, it was great.
And then the follow-up song, I liked a lot as well. We got a little bit more clean on the vocals, a little bit more melodic. We had some nice background harmony pieces coming into this one. And then again, we go back to some screaming. We got some really nice guitar work on this one, and a really cool, I don't know how the ending changes again, but instead of going to a jazzy feel, we've got this nice, cool drum beat going on and some nice string work on the guitar, some nice clean notes that I liked. And I didn't realize at first, but this is a nod to a video game. They must like video games a lot. This game is called Returnal. Never heard of it. It's on PlayStation.
Me either.
Whatever. But
you touched on a lot of the things that I noted. I love the opening riff of this song. Very, very cool. The vocals, they're almost have a little bit of a poppy feel. There's, they're kind of affected here and there. The harmonies I loved. There's some just monster riffs in this song. I really, really like. This was one of my highlights. This and the next song were probably my two favorite songs on the album. And you touched on the ending. There's a few of these songs that they have kind of long endings after the vocals stop, and there's a few of them. It almost feels like it's just kind of almost like a cool down or a transition into the next song, or it goes and goes and goes, and then it kind of like lets you relax and cool down and mellow out, and then boom, come in with the next song. So it's kind of cool. It works. It really works.
The next song really works in the way that you just described.
Yes.
And this Wax Wings, which I said kind of goes back to Icarus there in the beginning, but this was my favorite song on the record. And this one had everything that I like about them. You had some nice harsh vocals, and you had some nice melodic, beautiful vocals. You've got the guitar is all over the place, which is awesome. We had a cool guitar solo. We had piano on this one. It hits everything. And I think, was this one 8 minutes? No, this one was 7:26. Yeah. The last one was 8 minutes, but I like this one a lot. This was my favorite.
Yeah, I like how they open the song. It's got kind of the like a clean guitar, not super distorted, and which kind of sets the melody, which then carries into the heavier parts. So that I like it when they do that, because it kind of, a lot of people complain about metal and say like that heavy distorted guitar is just noise, and I'm like, this proves the opposite. Like it carries that melody. So whether you hear it or not, I don't know, but it does carry the melody. And I really liked his vocals on this one. He's a very good vocalist. He can do it all, and I think this song showed his control over his instrument, if you will. So not to get pretentious about it, but this, like I said, Atropos, the previous song, and this song Wax Wings is my two favorite songs on the album.
Yeah, agreed. I like it. This one was nice up tempo beginning, which kind of broke out of that last one pretty well. So sweet spot for me vocally, and lyrically, there were some really nice lyrics. I really like the chorus on this one. All right. And this one kind of goes out in a cinematic way, just like you were saying, kind of the cool down. And then we got Everything Is Fine. And this one was harsh and brutal. This was in your face. This was not even remotely like the last two songs. But I dug it quite a bit.
Yeah, this one goes hard pretty quick, and it kind of stays there for most of it. I enjoyed it. I don't really have a lot to kind of break down in it. There's lots of cool, if you really listen, like with headphones or something, there's lots of fun little like noises and electronic, I think there's like a stutter edit at one point. There's, like just nice little touches and flourishes throughout the whole thing that are kind of cool. And then at the end, it kind of, the riff, it doesn't go clean and get soft, but it slows down and gets a little sludgier, and it's kind of droning. Droning, and very, very cool ending.
Yeah, and had laser sounds in it.
Yes. Yeah.
So this one was just heavy. If you like that, you will dig this song, which just makes the juxtaposition for the next song even that much greater. Because we go into a song called Silhouette, which, oh my gosh, I don't even know that this belongs anywhere near this record, but they loved it. They put it on here, and I guess if you're digging some electronic pop, this is your jam right here.
Yeah, this is the first time I listened to this album. Like, I heard the song coming out of the previous, and I'm like, okay, and I'm just waiting for something to kick in, and it sounds like a boy band. It really does.
It does.
I mean, super poppy vocals, harmonies. Like, I mean, it just sounds like a boy band, but I don't hate it. So,
yeah, when we talk about albums as a whole, I don't know how it fits. Honestly, it just doesn't feel like it's part of this record. When it came on, I picked my phone up because I had my headphones on. I wasn't even paying attention just to see if it had like switched albums or something because it was that stark. And but again, yeah, it's not horrible. I just don't love it on this record personally.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe they threw that in there. I mean, it's right in the middle, so maybe it's some kind of transition palette cleanser. I don't know, maybe, but
Sure.
it is definitely different from everything else here.
Yeah. So then we kind of get back into the mix, but not like we did from Wax Wings to Everything Is Fine. We go into a song called Dying Star, which is kind of midway on hard and soft on this record. More of a rock song, really. I don't know that you really call this one metal as much as it feels like just a good rock song with some nice melody and nice hooks. Didn't
really
love it, but it wasn't bad. I mean, it's just pretty good song.
Yeah, same. I mean, I'm right there with you. Super solid musicianship and, song structure. It's all there, but it's just kind of, I don't know. I found myself like I enjoyed listening to it, but there wasn't anything in it that really just grabbed me and I don't know, really got into the core.
Don't we always feel like when we get into records that a lot of times you hit that 5, 6, 7 song that we sort of hit a lull?
Yeah.
It's like all the lull songs always get placed in this spot. I'm not sure why, but
yeah, I don't know. That is definitely a noticeable pattern. And for many, many, many years, I mean, it just happens. I don't know why.
Yeah. It's nice when you have an album that doesn't, and then you're like, oh yeah, this is it,
Yep.
All right, the next song, I'm going to say it's pronounced Zagrus. I'm not sure, but it's based on a video game called Hades. So,
okay.
I
would have said Zagreus or something like that.
Sure. Your guess is as good as mine because we don't know. But it's a song that looks like Zagreus, and it is a pretty good song. It's got a lot of heavy. It's got a little everything. I think this is a song that kind of has a lot of what they have to offer through the other ones.
I agree.
Stays away from the pop more so, and I like that.
Yeah. There was one line where he says, it really caught my ear because I had the lyrics up, but I wasn't looking at them. And it really caught my ear enough that I went back and rewound it to that. He says over and over again and again, and just the way he delivers over and over is amazing. Because in the words over, those syllables over and over, he goes up and down. I mean, with every syllable is a different place on the scale, and I mean, it really caught my ear. It really impressed me. It was very cool. The guitar solo in this song, I think, is awesome, and it's one of those guitar solos that just fits. It's exactly what it needs to be, where it needs to be, and was awesome. The last 2+ minutes of this song got pretty interesting.
In what way?
Well, it's another one where the vocals drop out, and there's like a couple more minutes of the song, so it's all instrumental, and it just kind of, I don't know, man, some just really just badass riffs, and these guys are just good musicians, man.
They really are.
It just was impressive.
Yeah. So you think that one was long? The next one is 12 minutes.
Yeah, these next 2 songs, I mean, that's like
12
a whole
11, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. This one tells the story of a fat vampire. So,
Okay.
what do you know about that?
I mean, okay, from the title, I mean, yeah, sure. All right.
What I'd like, though, is a group that that deals with this much arrangement, because it's not straightforward. You're not getting a couple of verses and choruses and breakdown, another verse. You're not getting that. The arrangements are big and they're expansive, but to get a 12-minute song arranged within this album, I think is a pretty good task. I mean, it's and it is a really good song. I liked it quite a bit. I almost wish this would have been the closer, personally.
I agree, because I like this one a lot better than the closer. If you're going to put two songs back to back that are 12 and 11 minutes long, you might as well close out with the stronger song, and I don't think they did that here. This one, what is it, Draco Grass or Grass, or however you say it, Gra? I don't know.
Gra, probably, like foie
probably,
gras.
yeah. But I enjoyed this one. I don't really have a ton of notes for these last two songs just because they're so long. This one definitely felt like more epic.
Mm-hmm.
And, epic is a word that I feel might get thrown around too much. Just because a song is long doesn't mean it's epic. This one, I think, fits that epic tag. The last song, Thanks Nobuo. Yeah, I don't know.
Nobuo.
Yeah. So
yeah.
But yeah, so the last song I don't really think sounds like an epic. I think it just sounds like a long song.
No, I agree with that. I really wish they would have closed with this one, because it is a killer song. It has some awesome riffs. And they sound different too. It's not like just like a one killer riff for 12 minutes. It mixes up, and each one sounds a little bit different, a little different tone.
Yeah.
Just a really cool song. I like that one a lot. So, and then the last one, like you said, Thanks Nobuo or whatever, is another one that nods to another video game. So these kids love video games, apparently.
All right. Well,
this was Final Fantasy. Have you ever played that game?
No, I'm familiar, but I don't do video games. So
yeah, me neither. So I'm a little lost, but it sounded good, but it outstayed its welcome.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the point, is it outstayed its welcome, wanted us to have the album end. And that way it was a good album closer.
Yeah, that seems, I don't know, kind of counterproductive, but
yeah,
sure. It's fine. It's not terrible, but it's, with putting these two super long songs, I flip the order, and I think you're out on a better note.
Agreed. Yeah. Hour and 10 minutes was the album, 9 songs.
Yeah.
It was a behemoth. The short song was the pop song, of course.
Yes. Makes sense.
It does make sense. So this is really my first foray into digging in to Periphery. And like when you sent that and I checked it out, that's when I had to do the switch up on you, because it just was interesting. I wanted to dig into this one more than I know I'm going to get with Miley. So, but this was truly an interesting record. I'm glad I listened to it. I think there are some pieces here that are absolutely brilliant, and a couple of misses for me, but hey, that's all personal anyway. So if I were to rate this, I would probably give it a 3.75 out of 5. And I was going to go with 3.5, but I'm going to give them an extra 0.25 because of their willingness to go out on a limb and really put down something interesting to music. So, and will I listen again? Yes, I will listen to. I could see myself listening to the first 3 songs back to back, like putting that on a playlist that way, because those 3 work really, really well together. And they were my favorites of the record. So.
Yeah, I would probably land on a 3.75 as well, for a lot of the same reasons you just said. And I've already put like a Tropos and Wax Wings. I've already added to my fave jams, metal playlist. So that's I've got like almost 700 songs on there. So I might hear them every once a year maybe, but unless I search them out. But yeah, it's fun. These guys are fun, and they've been around for a minute. So I kind of feel like an ass for not digging in on them before now, but I definitely, this will make me go back and check out more. So for sure.
Yeah. Agreed. Now, we don't know what we're doing coming up. We might do Miley.
Sure.
In 2 weeks, based on this, maybe we should do the 15th anniversary of Meshuggah. Obscene. What do you think?
I mean, I'm fine with that. That's a classic metal album. It's probably one of their most popular albums. So,
and it's pretty darn good too.
Yeah,
there's some great music on it. So maybe we'll do that. That comes out on the 31st. So
okay,
gives us a few weeks to think about that. But I wouldn't mind doing that. See what it sounds like, because it's all redone. So we got all remasters on that one. Pretty
very
sure.
cool.
Yeah. They all are. There's 9 songs on it. So, all right, Mr. Mundy, where can we find you if we're looking for you?
Just track me down on Instagram. My handle on the show at Metalhead Mundy. Just make sure you spell it right, or I don't know where you'll end up.
Go there for pictures of cats.
Lately, yeah, I told my wife, I'm like, we had dinner with some friends or something, and I told her after, I'm like, we're turning into those assholes that just talk about their cat all the time. So,
oh, cat people.
She's so cute.
I want a write-in campaign to get JPP back on the show. He's putting out all these amazing videos playing music, and I'd love to have him back on to talk about music because he is the GOAT, the Phoenix Supernova. There he is right there. So, all right. If one person writes in, I'm calling that a campaign, and I'm calling him and telling him the fans demand it. Somebody quick, write in. There I am. Still Foggy Spow, still on Instagram, still on Twitter. And you can find Wanderings and Wool Gathering on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, Stitcher, Castbox, and SoundCloud.
And the Kokomo Lantern Facebook page.
And my Twitter page. And sometimes on the Facebook page for the show. I don't always get that on there so quickly, so sometimes I can't get it there. I cannot get my cursor back on my screen. Oh, there we go. I'm using 2 screens, and it was really bothering me there for a minute. So thanks for bearing with me, fans. That's cute.
Yeah.
All right, folks. We will be back next week with something. It's likely to be Miley because we're lazy, and we probably won't pick anything new between now and then.
And I've already listened to it twice. So
jerk. Cat people. What are you going to do? All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye now.